So welcome to today's flight. It's gonna be an IFR flight, even though it could be flown VFR as well, from Sarasota to Cedar Key, so the George T. Lewis field. It's a little nice little airport, I would say. So let's see how it looks like. The weather. These are snapshots from the morning, and the winds could be seen really variable. Those are only surface winds. The clouds were kind of unpredictable, I would say. Some overcast layer, but above 10,000 feet. But a little bit closer or a little bit away, we had some lower clouds, like 7,000 feet few or even 2,000 feet broken. So kind of really unpredictable. So we could not really rely on that. So we'll check how it looks like momentarily. As far as the temperature goes, always good to notice when there are some clouds about, so we know that, or we can estimate if we can expect some freezing conditions. This is the map of freezing altitude. So we are someplace around there, and as you can see, it's between like above 10,000 feet. From the morning, and this was like a warning of like icing conditions valid for 15 Zulu. We'll check what the current conditions are. So let's go for it. First of all, winds, and we also have something. I didn't see that before. We have some convect something. Let's me click that. Outlook convective, that is valid from 20 Zulu. And it's like the whole Florida. So we might actually expect the weather to go worse in 2 hours or something. But let's see. The clouds. This is for 20 Zulu. What will be the correct zoom? Yeah. So 20 Zulu. Let's do 19 first because that's the time of our departure. What is this? Sigmet convective again. That's valid even now. So there might be some problems in the weather. Maybe some winds and turbulence and so on. So let's be wary of those. Clouds actually look kind of IFR-ish. I guess that we could go below, but it would be very unpredictable. An hour later, it still looks like this. And now I'm mainly concerned about the destination. Overcast 100 or 10,000 feet. And coming further, it seems that the forecast for the destination, the ceilings should be around 10,000 feet all the time. So that's actually good for us. Regarding the winds, we'll check 6,000 feet. That's the altitude I'm planning to fly at. 3,000 feet surface. It's more or less the same, so slight variations. The surface winds suggest that maybe at our destination it will blow from northeast, so we might use the runway that's it's runway 5, I believe. Let's check it out. Let's check it out later. Regarding the airmets or GRmets, as you can see, for 18 Zulu, this freezing warning actually moved up and now is above our location, so we should be quite safe. Also, we do not expect clouds to be that low, and even if they were, the temperatures would be high enough for us, not to, so we don't freeze. And what else I wanted to check? I believe that was quite all from the weather. I'm a little bit worried about this this convective that is valid now, and I don't even know why it doesn't say if I move it 1 hour later, because it's 20 Zulu already. It should end at that time. So I just noticed it right now. So yeah, so it can be a little bit bumpy. Okay, that's weather. Route planning. There is quite a straight route from our departure all the way to our destination. I planned like all the way to this VOR, but of course we can expect to be like broken off from the route to actually go to the airport. So my flight plan will be this first line. Of course, there are alternatives. For example, if you don't want to fly over water, you can always take this Victor route to Nitz and then fly there. Slightly longer, but over the land. And again, you can be expected to be like broken off. And there is like also a valid option that not many people know about, that they can file it. And look at this. For example, I'm going to Papa India Echo, then Victor 35. It's the same as the beginning. So we are going here, Victor 35, all the way to Kaya, which is here. And then we basically continue on that Victor 35, but I wrote it as Charlie Tango in Yankee 170 Romeo, and that means that it's a 170 radial from Cross City VOR. So we follow that, and when we reach the Ocala VOR, and respectively it's 266 radial, we can actually switch over. So this is like depicted here a little bit. So we would fly here to the north, and when we pick up the 266 radial, we would just turn left and follow that, even though there is no intersection. So it can legally be done. But by this point, we would, in real life, probably be vectored to the airport or ordered direct anyway. So it's not really needed. All right. Don't forget to do your fuel calculations according to the POH, of course. And there might be an alternate needed. And I'll query you about that a little bit later. So the departure. So if I consider that we have an ATC, then we would of course need to get the clearance, and we can get it either on the ground or we can depart VFR and get it on the way if there are VFR conditions. This time there is currently no ATC. Maybe they will come before we end this briefing, but that's not certain. So there is this CRAFT acronym that in US you are well to remember. It stands for Clearance, Route, Altitude, Frequency, and Transponder, and you would get your clearance in this order. So let's say that you want to ask for a clearance, so it would be Sarasota delivery, November 123 Alpha Bravo, IFR Sarasota to George to T. Lewis with information Delta, let's say, and that is the 80s information that you have. And then they can clear you for something like that. November 123 Alpha Bravo delivery cleared to George T. Lewis. So your clearance limit is the airport. So that is something you would write next to the C. Via, and then follows the route. So via, and they can, for example, say Sarasota 5 departure, radar vectors to St. Petersburg, for example, because that's our first point that we filed, then as filed. And that is the route section. So they gave you SID, they gave you radar vectors to your first fix, and then as filed. Maintain and they don't even need to tell you this in this clearance, because the SID also contains the altitude, but they can repeat that. So maintain 3,000 feet, expect whatever you file, from 6,000, 8,000 feet, 10 minutes after departure. So that's the altitude section. Then is the departure frequency, and they will tell you the frequency. That's the frequency, and squawk, and you have the code 1234, and that's transponder. You are always advised to have a pen and paper ready for this, so you can really write that down as they speak it, and then you try to read that back. If you read it correctly, they will tell you read back correct. If not, then they will correct you on items that you have missed or misspelled. Then comes a time that you prepare yourself, you configure the route. If you want to do that like via GPS, then you program it in the GPS. If not, you set up the radios that you will need for this route. And when you are ready for taxi, you will call the ground that you want to taxi. Again, you tell them the current ATIS information. And if you want to depart from some intersection, you also need to request that. Otherwise, they will give you the full runway. When you reach the runway, you don't need any handover from ground. You can directly tune the tower and tell them that you are ready for departure. Now, they told us to follow some SID, so standard instrument departure, and let me bring that standard instrument departure here, like the full plate. We have two. We have Sarasota 5 and Circus 4. If I go to Circus 4, I have the that is for turbojets only. So that's really not for me. I'm not sure if any of you are flying turbojet today. I expect not. So this is not for us. So I'll just close it. And we have the other one, Sarasota 5. Look, it doesn't look anything fancy. Right? There are no real routes, no real like tracks that to follow. And you might say, okay, well, they can tell that to me on the clearance, right? You don't need to create a plate for it. But the thing is that since you have it, then basically they don't need to tell you, for example, the altitude or so. They don't need to tell you after departure from runway 3 to join the 268 radial from Sarasota VOR and so on and so forth. So these are those. The wind is currently favoring runway 22, so I'm not entirely sure how that would work, because this is obviously not ready for like runways 22 and 4, and it even says the takeoff minimums are like NA ATC. So I would say that if you want to follow this departure procedure, you basically need to depart, for example, runway 32. So we can do that, even though the weather currently is, the winds are like from 220 at 11 knots, so it's quite a hefty crosswind, but still doable. So I believe that for like, is this? For training purposes, I might actually depart 3-2 instead of 2-2, just so I can follow this and try to intercept this radial. So it is depicted here like graphically, and it's also described by text. So for takeoff runway 32, it's climbing left turn to intercept Sarasota radial 268 westbound, or as assigned by ATC. Expect radar vectors to join assigned route, thence maintain 3000, or as assigned by ATC. Expect clearance to file the altitude 10 minutes after departure. So it's spelled out for you as well what you should do. There is a note for runway 32 that turbojet aircraft do not turn prior to departure end of runway. So if you are not turbojet, you can by extension turn before the departure end of runway. It's generally not recommended, but since it's written here, if you reach at least like 400 feet AGL, then you can start your turn earlier when you still have the runway below you. And these all VORs or vortex that are here on the chart, that's just some suggestions what might be the first fix that you are cleared for. So if you look closely, we have both St. Petersburg that I filed as a first point, but we also have the cross city vortex. And that is basically the vortex that is already behind our arrival, because this chart is not to scale. So our arrival is somewhere there, probably, or like south of the cross city VOR, like 30 nautical miles. So in a sense, we could even file Sarasota 5 departure and cross city, and that's all. But I wanted to fly some Victor Airway between the St. Petersburg and cross city. Any question regarding the departure? Nope. Okay, if there's any question later, just ask. If we don't have ATC, then of course we will just self-announce like normally. En route. So as always, aviate, navigate, communicate. That stays the same all the time. Keep track of your progress. There might be some handoffs between controllers if we had them, and then prepare for arrival. So, yeah. So weather. Unfortunately, there is no METAR, there is no TAF, so we will solely like depend on our planning. For METARs, we can query some nearby fields. So if I look, for example, there is the nearby field, although it's like 40 nautical miles, so not that nearby. We have here 30 nautical miles away. Again, this is again 30 miles, so there is basically no nearby field with the METAR. So it's gonna be some hit and miss, and we will need to observe the situation from the air. But what is the strange about this airport? And tell me if, well, tell me who noticed already. This airport doesn't have any approach published or any IFR approach published. Is there someone who hasn't noticed this? Or someone who noticed?
Kind of threw a wrench in my planning, or approach.
Sorry, say again?
Kind of threw a wrench in my planning. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
no approach. I guess I'll just have to approach visually, I guess.
Yeah, so now the question arises, is it even possible to file an IFR plan into the airport that doesn't have any IFR instrument procedure? Well, obviously it is, because you can file the IFR plan to a GPS coordinate, for example, if you wanted to. It's not done usually, because what would be the purpose of it, but you can do it. So by extension, you can also file an IFR plan and legally to the airport that doesn't have an instrument procedure. However, there are some things to consider. Because if you want to fly on your IFR flight plan to an airport that you cannot use IFR procedure or instrument procedure to arrive, then you need to have a good enough weather to land under VFR, and you need to have a good enough weather to descend from minimum IFR altitude for that area all the way to the landing. And what is meant by minimum IFR altitude? You can basically, the first thing that comes to mind is the Oroka. Those are those numbers here, those amber numbers, so 1726. So it's like obstacle clearance altitude in the whole sector. The problem with that number is, as you can see, this is like 26, so 2,600 feet. and it's valid for the whole segment. So for the whole, is it rectangle? Is it a square? So for this whole rectangle, it means that if you are at 2,600 feet, you will have cleared all the obstacles that are, like you will have cleared the highest obstacle that is in this entire segment. So you can see our airport is in another segment, which is 1,700 feet. However, in order to descend, we would need to start descending through this segment. So are clouds high enough so we can descend to that altitude safely, even in IFR conditions? Will we break out of clouds before we reach that altitude? And sometimes this altitude might not be good enough because, as I said, it's for the whole sector. We might have some mountain here in the north eastern corner that is 10,000 feet, and in this case, the Oroka even here on the coast will be 12,000 feet. So another option how to determine what is your minimum IFR altitude is so-called minimum vectoring altitude. That's not something that is readily available to pilots, as at least it's not easy to determine. So in real life, you would be able to ask ATC what is the minimum altitude they can vector you to in this segment, and they would answer you. Or you can do some research beforehand, and this is, for example, the map of the minimum vectoring area. It's kind of difficult to orientate. You know, you might not need a ORL, probably be Orlando, JCTY, Jacksonville maybe, or Jacksonville. Hard to say, but I took a pain and actually found out that I compared the FIR, so the FIR boundaries with this, and it fits. And I was able to determine that our destination is somewhere there. So either the minimum vectoring altitude is 1,800 feet or 1,500 feet or something like that. So that's a little bit lower than the Oroka for that area. And since the forecast clouds are at 10,000 feet, I believe that we can safely say that the good chances are that we will be flying in the VFR conditions the whole flight, but that's not certain completely. All right, so that's the first thing. You need to have good enough weather so you can descend from your MIA to land under VFR. The other thing is that in this case, if you're filing an IFR plan to such an airport, you must file an alternate every time. Even if the forecast weather is completely clear, you must file an alternate. So you have the option to divert someplace else if needed. And that alternate either must have instrument approach, and you will consider that a valid alternate airport by the standard alternate requirements. So if it has a precision approach, that means ceilings at least 600 feet AGL and 2 statute miles of visibility, and 800 feet for non-precision approaches. If you do consider some airport as your alternate, of course you need to check the charts because the alternate minimums might be slightly different. The other option is that other airport also can be an airport without any instrument procedures. But in that case, again, the forecasted weather must be that you are able to descend from MIA to land under VFR. So those are two conditions. Even though that airport doesn't have any IFR procedure, you can kind of find it by nearby navigation aids. So that's why I knew that, from Ocala, it's radial 266 to reach the airport. I'm not 100% positive how exactly we would, the ATC would direct us to that field, because I have never done such a thing under ATC. I might need to try that some different day to see how they would react. But I expect that you can call them. In black, this is what the pilot says, and in gray, it's what the ATC says. So you can, I believe, request vectors or direct to George T. Lewis and descend. So you can request that. We are coming up maybe on that Kaya waypoint. So you tell them that you would now want vectors for that airport and the descent. And if you are GPS enabled, then you can ask for direct. If not, then you can request those vectors. They can tell you something like that you should fly certain heading, maintain certain altitude, and that you are provided with vectors to the airport. And they can ask you to report the airport inside. And once you do report the airport inside, you can cancel the IFR and land at the airport. So in essence, it's nothing really complicated, but slight legal differences. And as for the arrival, at this point it is a pure VFR arrival into the airport. In the morning, the forecasted winds were from the south. So I thought that we would be using runway 23, but now it seems that it's more likely gonna be runway 5. So how to get to runway 5? Both runways have left traffic pattern. You can find that in the supplemental or chart supplement. In that case, since we will be coming kind of from the east, I would suggest that we cross the airfield 1,500 feet above the ground, so 500 feet above the traffic pattern altitude. Hopefully we will be able to see some windsock or something, and we would be able to determine when to land. And if it agrees that the winds are like coming from the northeast, then we will then continue at least for 2 nautical miles, then do a teardrop entry while descending to 1,000 feet, and we would join that left downwind of runway 5. And is it runway 5? I need to confirm. Runway 5 at 1,000 feet and then subsequently land. So let's check the airport now. It's indeed runway 5. There is even no the basic diagram. So let me bring up a little nav map and just go there. All right. So if I insert the, where can I insert? Add traffic pattern. Okay, so let's do runway 5 left. Downwind to runway, let's take 1 nautical mile, pattern altitude 1,000 feet. Okay, this is not runway 5, it's actually written badly. This is runway 23 and this is runway 5. Let me just put it away. I don't know why sometimes these custom sceneries will make it wrong. Where do I remove that? Okay, I'll add the other one. So we have 2. Can I remove that? Sorry, I won't waste time. So this is the pattern for runway 5, obviously, because runway 5 needs to go to northeast. So you would overfly the field all the way there and then join this recommended entry procedure and subsequently land at the airport. And that's for the arrival. Radio calls are very standard. So you made a position call when able. You make a call when overflying the field, and then you make another call when joining the downwind, and then when turning base and final. One problem with this airport, or problem, is that it doesn't have any taxiway. So when you land, you would need to backtrack this runway all the way here to the parking. So try to do it safely, but don't linger too long on the runway so others can land as well. So, is there anything unclear regarding the flight?
Not unclear, but maybe a planning question. I read somewhere that you can, in your flight plan, if you put VFR after a certain waypoint, you can just change flight rules and file it as such.
I cannot comment to that because I don't know, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
So I would be just making stuff up. It's entirely
Okay.
possible. I would believe that you can enter it into the flight plan, but then you would need to cancel that IFR anyway, which you can do en route either way. So maybe it serves a purpose of alerting ATC in before that you will eventually do that.
Yeah, it's a technicality,
I
more
think,
or less.
yeah. Yeah,
Actual flying won't change.
but I can neither confirm nor deny that. I don't know.
Okay. If the controller yells at me, I was wrong.
Yeah, do we have even any controller right now?
Jacksonville Center is online now.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. But I guess that will, yeah, we're still under Miami now, so we will come into Jacksonville. All right. So be prepared to contact them. All right. So let's get back. So I'll file this flight plan. I'm simulating equipment alpha, so no GPS. So let's see how that's gonna go. I filed 6,000 feet. That's quite enough for me. I will try to refrain from using a moving map, and of course not this one. I will use timer there. All right, so let me start the aircraft before the battery runs out. All right. So alternators.
Clear prop.
Magnetos. I need to enable the fuel flow. Mixture, props, throttle, beacon lights, navigation lights, and let's kick it. All right. Engines look good. So let me clean that a little bit so I save the spark plugs. Okay, so let's prepare for the flight. We will be using the Sarasota 5 departure. I will be taking runway 32. So I need to tune in 117. So 117.0. There we go, 1170. Here into the navigation 1. Of course, I need to configure the 268 radial. So let me move that. Uh, 268. Perfect. And then at some point, I will want to tune in St. Petersburg and go direct there. So 116.4. 0.4 and 116 into standby there. Currently, I will use the Unicom and I will prepare myself for Jacksonville Center. which is 135,925. 135,925. Enter. Perfect. All right, I believe that's quite it. So I plan to depart, then at some point go direct St. Petersburg VOR, and then we'll continue on 355 radial along the Victor 35. All right, weather. We have the, let's refresh. Wind is 230 at 12. 29er, 89er. So let's do that. 29er, 89er. Yes. Clear. Yeah. Right. Sarasota Airfield. We go there. Okay, we are by this FBO, so we'll just taxi to runway 32, maybe to C6, Charlie 6. And just move that out, because I'm not gonna use Little Nav Map. There we go. So let's call the, let's announce the taxi and let's get going. Sarasota traffic, this is Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo. I'm Twin Cessna, currently at the Atlantic FBO. We'll be taxiing to runway 32, Charlie 6 intersection, Sarasota.
Sarasota traffic, November 6529 Lima at Atlantic. We'll be taxiing to runway 32, Charlie 6, behind the Twin Cessna, November 6529 Lima.
Charlie 6 intersection is right there.
Sarasota traffic, Kodiak 36 Foxtrot, East FBO, taxiing to runway 32, Charlie 6 intersection, number 3, Sarasota.
Here it's called Juliet, but it is Charlie 6 according to the charts. So we are definitely not into the wind, but let's do a run up anyway. So
Sarasota traffic, Cessna 692 Delta Atlantic Aviation, taxiing runway 32, Charlie 6 intersection, Sarasota.
1700. Let's switch to magnetos. That looks good. Feathering of the engines. Good. Idle. Looks alright. So let's go. Strobe lights, landing lights, and fuel pumps and lows selection. Let's go. Sarasota traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo, Twin Cessna. Departing runway 32 from Charlie 6 intersection. We'll be doing left turnout after departure. Sarasota. All right, so that's it. we have winds from the right. We need to compensate for that. Okay, let's turn the heading back to 3-2. All right, runway heading. Let's get rolling. Okay, gear up. Okay, let's get to at least...
Sarasota traffic, November 6529 Lima, departing runway 32. Doing a left turn out after departure, November 6529 Lima.
Okay. And here we intercept this 268 radio. And of course we continue climbing. Sarasota traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo is at 1,500 feet, climbing 6,000, will be turning to the north momentarily. Final call, Sarasota. Okay, so let's say that we are now climbing and that we got the command from ATC that we can go direct St. Petersburg VOR. So I will tune that in. This is St. Petersburg VOR. I will find where to fly and let's turn there. Of course, initial altitude is 3,000 feet, but the ATC can actually clear me before that.
Sarasota traffic, Kodak 36 Foxtrot at Charlie 6 departing runway 32, left turn after departure, Sarasota.
So now we are 30 nautical miles from the VOR. Sarasota traffic, November 6529 Lima is at 1,700 feet. We'll be turning northbound for departure of Sarasota.
So the weather is really clear, but doesn't hurt to do a one IFR flight once in a while. Right, I appear to be like direct to the VOR right now, so let's go. We'll see how the wind will drift us, if the wind will drift us. Okay, maintaining 2,500, leaning. I forgot to start my timer, so let's do it now. Since it is VFR weather, we can enjoy the scenery a little bit as well.
Sarasota traffic, Cessna 69er 2 Delta departing runway 32 at Charlie 6 indicate intersection. Will be turning left after departure at Sarasota.
Right, landing lights can go off. Fuel pumps as well.
Sarasota traffic, Kodiak 36 Foxtrot. Currently climbing on Sarasota VOR radio 268, outbound 1600, climbing 4000 feet, departing north, final call, Sarasota.
Have I filed 6000? Yes. Let's see at which point we should contact Jacksonville. Basically, after we clear St. Petersburg, Jacksonville starts. So maybe 5-10 miles before that, if we don't get a contact message sooner. Right, we are reaching 6,000 feet. So let's level off, accelerate, trim the plane, adjust the power. First we'll let it accelerate. Okay, we saw some few clouds, that there should be some few clouds at this altitude. I guess those are them. And we are reaching our cruise speed, so let's ease up on the power a little bit. And lean. There we go. So, landing lights are off.
Sarasota traffic, Cessna 692 Delta, 1500, climbing 6000, turning north, final call, Sarasota.
So now we maintain 6,000 feet. We go direct St. Petersburg VOR. And in about 8 nautical miles, I'm gonna be tuning in Jacksonville Center. I'm gonna hand fly this flight, of course, because I need to keep my skills up to date.
Sarasota traffic, Cessna 901 Bravo Charlie at the VO section runway 32 via Juliet, the Charlie 6 intersection, Sarasota.
Entering a little bit of clouds.
Sarasota traffic 901 Bravo Charlie lining up and taking up on runway 32, followed by a left turn after departure, Sarasota.
Okay, let's tune the Jacksonville Center and listen in.
Mitchell Aircraft, Charleston Aegis Bravo, now current, Charleston altimeter 3003. 5 Mike Tango, roger. Departure along the shoreline is approved. Remain, let's see, crossing runway 15 is approved. Departure from the southeast ramp will be at your own risk. Proceed as requested.
Okay, let me see if I have caching enabled. Seems to be. I do. I should not be getting these FPS hits. Yeah, let me slightly reduce graphics.
Somebody's trying to call JAX Center. Just check your mic settings.
Seem to be hitting some performance problems. We'll see how that goes. Jacksonville Center, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo, radio check.
Loud and clear.
Okay, Jacksonville Center, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo. I'm a twin Cessna on an IFR flight plan to Cedar Key Airport at 6,000 feet, currently 5 miles south of St. Petersburg, VOR.
Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo, JAX Center, squawk 1052.
1052, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo.
Southwest 1009, contact Atlanta Center 132.907. Good day.
Atlanta, good day. Southwest 29.
November 5 Mike Tango, radar contact, say altitude. November 5 Mike Tango, roger. Resume your own navigation to the southwest and maintain VFR, the Charleston altimeter 3003.
After the VOR, we'll need to join a 355.
Southwest 247, nobody on down there at Tampa. Radar services terminated. Frequency change approved.
Over to advisory for Southwest 247.
So
Have a great rest of your day.
Same to you.
Do that.
Jackson Center, good afternoon, United 2860, correction 2768, 8 with you, flight 370 in Bangalore,
At 2768 JAX Center, squawk 1027.
Squawk 1027, United 2768.
So no. Okay, now there's this.
Crew 1674 JAX Center, clear direct Leopard.
Okay, so now we crossed the VOR. The indication changed from to two. From
Got
to
it,
to from.
2768 radar contact with a Remus intersection. Maintain level 380.
Now we're coming on.
United
That.
2768.
Jacksonville Center, November 36, Foxtrot.
November 36 Foxtrot JAX Center.
November 36, Foxtrot is a type direct Kodiak, around 7 miles south of the St. Petersburg VOR at 4000 IFR to Kilo Charlie Delta Kilo.
For 36 Foxtrot, JAX out of Roger, squawk 1055.
Squawk 1055, November 36 Foxtrot.
Oscar Golf, Charlie, Romeo, radar contact position as reported, maintain 6000, Tampa altimeter 29901.
29901 on the altimeter, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo, maintaining 6000. So 29901. And now we are tracking this radio. And we will be flying that radio for...
For 1674, come maintain level 360.
Actually, let me generate navlog, because that's something that should have been done. So after this, we will be flying that all the way to Kaya at least.
Error 36 Foxtrot, radar contact just south of the St. Petersburg VOR, maintain 4000, seeing Tampa altimeter 29901.
So let's reset the timer.
4000 and altimeter 29901, November 36 Foxtrot.
We are 6.4 miles. So all the way to Kaya, it's gonna be 16 plus 14 plus 35.
I'm just curious, I assume you guys don't live in the U.S., yes?
Negative, November 36 Foxtrot.
What made you guys pick Cedar Key? I just had a major curiosity. Or 365 shot. What made you guys pick Cedar Key as a destination? I'm just very curious. I've been there myself personally. I was just curious what made you guys pick it.
Yeah, mostly because our instructor picked it, but I don't think he has been to Florida either, November 36 Foxtrot.
Okay, yeah, it's a super short runway. It's a really cool place. You can get there's usually some people you can just get a little ride into town and have some great seafood. So it's kind of a cool place to go.
Yeah, I mean that's what the challenge.
Yeah. American 449, Miami Center's offline. Radar services terminated. Frequency change approved. Have a good day. Okay.
Okay, so once again, the distance. It's 15 and 16 and 35, so that's a 50, 66. To Kaya as it's at 66, so I guess that when I reach that or before that, I can request, descent and vectors to the airport.
Jacksonville Center, November 6529 Lima.
6529 Lima, go ahead.
We're at 8,000 feet, about 3 miles south of St. Petersburg VOR, IFR to Cedar Key.
November 200 Lima, squawk 1006.
1006 for 9 Lima.
So from here, it's basically maintaining a straight flight, staying on
Lima,
the
radar
radio.
contact over the St. Petersburg VOR, the Tampa altimeter 29901.
29901, November 6529 Lima.
Jacksonville Center, November 692 Delta.
That's a
November
little
602 Delta, JAX Center.
November 692 Delta is a Cessna 152 slant Alpha, approximately 1 to 5 miles south of the JAX, St. Petersburg VOR at 6,000.
November 602 Delta, Roger, squawk 1075.
1075, November 692 Delta.
Yeah, I'm drifting a little bit to the east, so let's correct that.
November 92 Delta, radar contact position as reported, the Tampa altimeter 29901.
2991, November 692 Delta.
And I'll also tune in the cross city VOR on the second
So
VOR.
is there anyone going overland?
Just so you guys are aware, I don't control Tampa, so there are some aircraft inbound Tampa International. I don't think it's going to 692 Delta. You have traffic behind you, but he's below you. But just so you guys are aware, I'm not talking to anybody into Tampa International. I'm just picking you guys up sort of as a courtesy.
Roger that. Thank you.
Can't promise you someone might not crash into you from behind or something. All right, let me talk with him and see what's going on. Stand by. Avoid 3803, he's going to recycle the audio for VATSIM client and see if, we'll just see if we can get it worked out here. Avoid 3803, go ahead and try again, and he'll try to contact you as well.
Alright, so what was the frequency? It was 112.10.
I'm sorry, the call sign again? 1054.
CTY, yes.
American 1054, JAX Center Squawk 1072.
It's gonna be 170 at the bottom.
American 1054, radar can attack 15 miles south of SNAS, maintain level 350.
Every time it's time to explore some new functions that I learned about. ATC. And CRE approach. Jacksonville North approach. What will it do if I press it? Range, frequency, distance, back. Okay, let's put it there. Good. This is nice. In range. Okay, that's better. That's actually rather cool.
November 91 Bravo Charlie.
Say the call sign again?
901 Bravo Charlie.
November 901 Bravo Charlie, JAX Center.
November 901 Bravo Charlie, Cessna 152 on an IFR to Cedar Key. Currently 2 miles south of St. Petersburg, VOR at 4,000.
91 Bravo Charlie, do me a favor, just call me call me about 5-10 miles north of St. Petersburg. You guys are kind of deep down in that airspace I just don't control. I'm just kind of giving you guys a little bit of a favor, so I hate to do you a disservice, and then I'm not talking to anybody else on the Tampa TRACON. So just call me about maybe 5-10 miles north of St. Petersburg.
Roger, will do. 901 Bravo Charlie.
Yeah, I got to take a phone call, guys. I'll be back in a minute.
We're just like an avalanche heading his way.
Oh my god, they're everywhere. Our numbers will darken the sky.
I wonder if I have to take a phone call is code for I'm disconnecting.
No.
No,
Nice,
that's I'm
nice,
gonna
that
get
one.
some cigarettes. Be right back.
That's a nice bit of information he gave about Cedar Key.
Yeah.
Alright, so let's check how far are we from the cross city. Oh, we don't have cross city anymore. Okay, we're not in range yet. Yeah, I just noticed the chat in stream. So yeah, so the flight time is about 54 minutes from the departure. We are now 45 miles from the St. Petersburg. So actually it's not gonna be that much because we are already there. Very soon we should be expecting, so I estimate like maybe 15 minutes or something. And yeah, the control curiosity is good. They can afford that curiosity if they don't have much traffic. Alright, I'll check on the passengers. They are comfortable and steady, good. They're not too cold, they're not too hot. Guess we are doing a little bit slower than 180 at this point. Actually, the better view are to tune. Beat that one. No, this will be after I cross Kai, I will switch to the Ocala on my second VOR. So 113.7. Let's configure that already. 1137. Just enter, and there I'm gonna put 112. So I will be tracking the 170 radial towards the cross city, which is here on top in the north from Kaya, but we'll want to know when I reach the 266 radial out of the Ocala. Descend it a little bit, so let's increase power. So is he back? Oh. Not sure if we're gonna be handed over to control.
Runway at 311 with you 50330.
Probably not going to Jacksonville approach. Okay, and I'm picking up the second one already. Let's check the distance. 58. 18 and 19, so 37. But if I'm not mistaken, this is the airport there, or should be. That's quite a long phone call for an ATC controller.
He's gone to get milk and cigarettes.
Maybe his wife is angry at him.
All right, sorry about that, guys. I had to take a phone call. Who was checking in?
Sunwing 31 way 250 330.
Sunwing 381 JAX Center Squawk 1071.
1071 31.
Okay, so when I reach that, I'm gonna be very close, like 9 nautical miles, so maybe...
Sunwing 381 radar contact, 10 miles northeast of the Craig VOR, maintain level 330.
330 Sunwing 31.
Oscar Golf, Charlie, Romeo. No weather available at the Cedar Key Airport. Probably the closest weather is Cross City. Altimeter showing 3001. The wind's 320 at 6.
Thank you for the information. I do believe I might have the area inside already. Can I have vectors over that, and I will cancel IFR when I'm nearer Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo.
You don't have a GPS to fly direct to the field? Oh, Alpha. Okay. 6 Charlie Romeo, Roger. Let's see. So basically, I would just stay on. Are you planning on landing on the west runway? I think it's 27 or something.
I believe the winds are forecasted to favor runway 05, actually.
Oh yeah, 5. Okay. All right. Well, in that case, then I would just stand by.
Yeah, estimate maybe 330 can put me there if I see correctly, Oscar Charlie Romeo.
There's 6 Charlie Romeo, fly heading 330.
Okay, fly heading 330 and request descent to 3,000 feet, Oscar Charlie Romeo.
Charlie Romeo, pilot's discretion, maintain 2,000.
Okay, descending from 6,000 to 2,000, Oscar Charlie Romeo.
Oscar Golf, Charlie Romeo, expect a visual approach. Just let me know when you have the field in sight.
Wilco.
For 1674, descend via the Seinfeld 3 arrival, Orlando altimeter 299.5.
Descend via Seinfeld 3 arrival, 299.5.
There, 5 Mike Tango. Looks like on that heading you're going to pick up the field. Looks like you're doing good there. Just let me know when you have the field in sight.
Yeah, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo here. I have the islands inside already, so I am positive I can navigate to that. No clouds between me and the area, so you can cancel my IFR.
Oscar Golf, Charlie Romeo, Roger, IFR cancellation received. Squawk maintained VFR, radar services terminated, frequency change approved. Have a good night.
Thank you very much for the service, squawking VFR and maintaining VFR. Frequency change approved. Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo.
And there was somebody else checking in. Who was that?
Okay.
Envoy 3803, JAX Center, climb and maintain level 330. Was there somebody else checking in? Embraer 1367, Jacksonville Center, roger. Pilot's discretion, maintain 1000, landing south. Myrtle Beach altimeter is 3007.
Let's switch to the VFR chart. So, if I'm not mistaken, the airport will be...
At 1367, if you like, you can proceed direct up on the runway 18 localizer. At 2768, there is opposite direction traffic about 30 miles, level 370, type unknown.
United 2768, 737,
At 2768, Houston Center is offline. Look at my airspace, radar services terminated, frequency change approved.
ODS 168, United 2768, thanks for service, have fun.
Good evening, Jackson Controls, Fault 8.
Right, so I'm planning to overfly the field. Maybe I'll see the windsock, or probably not. So we'll see. I'm gonna do an approach to runway 05. If it turns out that I'm running like with the wind, then I kind of I will break off that approach and go around and try the second runway. So let's make an initial call. Cedar Key traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo is twin Cessna at 3000 feet. Currently 10 miles to the south of the field. We'll be joining left downwind runway 05, Cedar Key. So when we are coming closer, these three islands will be those three. Strongly believe. Then this little one with this double, and that means that the airport should be right about there. So let me do runway 5 there. Let's turn on the fuel pumps. Okay. Yeah, turn on, yes. I can do landing lights as well, so I'm visible. And I need to descend 500 feet more. I'll try to overfly the field at 1500. The altimeter in the area. Let's check the METARs along the way. So let's just do a refresh. Let's see. 2993, 2995, 3000. So I'm at 2999. So let's put a little bit more there, and I'm already descending too much. So let's climb back. For reach, a bit more props. And let's look for that field. If there, it should be that one. Yeah, I'll take it a little bit to the left, to the right, so I can see that properly. Cedar Key traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo, overflying the field at 1500 feet from south to north. We'll be joining left downwind runway 05 by teardrop entry. Okay, so this runway is really short. So let me see, any weather Any windsocks visible? Nope. It's gonna be difficult. Yeah. Okay, so let's reset the timer. Let's slow up a little bit. Just fly 1 minute or so and then turn back. For the proper entry. One minute will put me approximately 2 nautical miles away from the airport. There we go. So let's turn and descend. Okay, coming up on 1,000 feet. And there we go. Cedar Key traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo, joining left downwind runway 05 at 45, Cedar Key. Okay, so let's go. It's a very short runway. Let's see how we'll manage. Okay. Let's trip flaps. 1 degrees and the gear. Can start slowly start descending. Okay, are we keeping parallel to the runway? Doesn't seem like it. Cedar Key traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo, turning left base runway 05, Cedar Key. Okay, so I'll drop second notch of flaps. Cedar Key traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo, turning final runway 05, full stop landing, Cedar Key. Overshot by quite a bit. Not confident that it's actually runway 05 there. Oh, it probably is. So we have the gear. We are quite far, but we need to touch down quite soon. And we need to go as slow as possible. So let's slow down. Maybe to 90. Don't really want to go any slower. Okay, it's not good. Some flaps, gear. And let's climb. Cedar Key traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo going around. Runway 05, Cedar Key. Cedar Key traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo, turning left crosswind, runway 05, Cedar Key. And we are at 1,000 feet. Cedar Key traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo, turning left downwind runway 05, Cedar Key. Okay, let's try to do a little bit better landing this time. So, first notch of flaps, landing gear. But the wind was, like, wind is correct. I saw the windsock. At least I know that I'm doing the right runway.
Cedar Key traffic, Kodiak 36 Foxtrot, around 10 miles east at 1,500 for left downwind, runway 05, Cedar Key.
Cedar Key traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo, turning left, base runway 05, Cedar Key. And let's drop the second notch of flaps. Let's try not to overshoot this time. Cedar Key traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo, turning final, runway 05, full stop landing, Cedar Key.
Cedar Key traffic, November 6529 Lima is 10 miles southeast of the field, inbound for a left downwind, runway 5, Cedar Key.
So 3 green, flaps 35, speed looks good.
Cedar Key traffic, Kodiak 36 Foxtrot, 5 miles east, 1400, descending 1000 through enter a left downwind runway 05 at 45 degrees. Cedar Key.
Okay, that was much better. Cedar Key traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo, backtracking runway 05, Cedar Key. All right. So we can turn off landing lights. That's all right. Let's backtrack as quickly as possible. Cedar Key traffic, Oscar Kilo Golf Charlie Romeo, vacated runway 05, Cedar Key. And all traffic going to Cedar Key, the windsock estimates the wind about 5 to 10 knots directly down the runway 05.
Cedar Key traffic, Kodiak 36 Foxtrot on left 45 degree entry leg for runway 05, Cedar Key.
Okay, trying to park here. Let's see. Might need to push myself back.
Cedar Key traffic,
what is
Kodiak
this?
36 Foxtrot, turning left downwind runway 05, Cedar Key.
Okay, let's try to actually... Let's see, we have the push toolbar, don't we? Yes. The pre-planned pushback, very good. Let's see. I want to be positioned there. Enter. Request. Let's put me there. Okay, this looks much more like it.
Cedar Key traffic, Kodiak 36 Foxtrot, turning left base, runway 05, Cedar Key.
Cedar Key traffic, November 6529 Lima will be overflying the field at 1500 for a teardrop entry into left downwind, runway 5, Cedar Key.
Right, so let's me just shut down one engine. Let's keep the other one running. So I have some energy for the battery.
Cedar Key traffic, Kodiak 36 Foxtrot, turning final runway 05, full stop, Cedar Key.
I believe it's time to actually watch those landings. There we go. Looks good. Touchdown on the display's threshold. But otherwise, quite
Cedar Key
good.
traffic, Kodiak 36 X-ray, backtracking under 05 to parking, Cedar Key.
Okay, looking good. Nice one. Very well done.
Yeah, looking really good.
You look exactly the same, Christian.
Ah, good. All these hours weren't for nothing.
Definitely not. So, I see 2 more aircraft arriving. So far looking good. Nice one.
That's how you not do it. I'm getting another hobby.
What have you done, Leith? I just can't give you can't like present you as a bad example anymore.
Oh, of course you can. It was a horrible landing.
Cedar Key traffic, Cessna 692 Delta, backtracking runway 5, Cedar Key.
I think I lost a few teeth there in that.
It was a good landing, at least from what we could see.
I'll take it, thank you.
It's up to me then.
And we have the final participant coming in. Again, Cessna 152.
I've got my toast waiting.
Cedar Key traffic, 1 Power Charlie, backtracking runway 5, Cedar Key.
So the landing was good. Close.
Yes, I am satisfied.
Right, so this was a flight from Sarasota to Cedar Key. I hope you enjoyed it. And next week I'm thinking it's gonna be the regular Tuesday. So have a nice time. Safe flying if you do so, even in simulator, and see you next time.